Hey, Teddy K here for the Best Buy blog, and in this video review, we take a look at Kobo Libra 2, one of Kobo's newest e-readers that borrows a whole lot from previous Kobos with a couple extra features. The Libra 2 is very much a successor or sequel to the Libra H2O. If you know Kobo devices and you remember that e-reader, you'll remember that that one had waterproofing, IPX8 rating, and also was a device that ideally was pocketable. It was really portable, and of course it had some durability. It also had the lip and the page turn buttons, which were initially introduced with the Kobo Forma. All of that is back here. So the Libra 2 is in many ways very much an extension of the Libra H2O, with a couple of key exceptions. Now, one being that it is a 7-inch e-ink Carta 1200 display, so it is a little bit more responsive. Kobo says about 20% more. I think it feels sometimes like more than that. I mean, the page turns are way smoother on this. And also audiobooks. So if you wanted audiobooks on a Kobo device, well, this is one thing that's going to get them to you. But other than that, there's not anything dramatically different in here. And so I think, as I'm going to point out here in this review, you are getting this largely for the things that previous Kobos don't have, as opposed to what this does have. And I think what I mean by that is that the audiobooks, of course, are a big factor. So if the audiobooks are not as important to you, then I don't know that this is going to offer you a dramatically different experience. I don't know if it's faster page turns and a little bit more of a responsive screen is necessarily what you're looking for. If it is, you'll get that here too. That being said, this device to me felt so familiar that I sometimes forgot that it was a different device, if that makes sense. So when I had reviewed the Libra H2O, I remembered that it was, at the time, I felt like it was the perfect Kobo device. Like, it was a really good Kobo device. It was responsive, it worked. The battery lasted for a good amount of time, and obviously you could take it in the pool or the tub and you wouldn't have to worry. All good things. You can do all that with this too. The Libra 2 is exactly that. The only difference being that if you want to also turn pages faster, if you want a more responsive screen, if you want USB-C to charge, for example, you want the power button here on the back. You know, certain things that are a little different, that make it a different device, sure, all those things apply here. And if you want those things, you will not be dissatisfied with this device at all. I say that also because Kobo is very consistent when it comes to content delivery. So it's not just the Kobo store. That's obviously here. There's even a Kobo Audiobook store as well. Now, it's all self-contained. It's in here. Although the audiobooks, frankly, well, I'll get to that in a second. But first, the reading. So Overdrive is great. I mean, if you can tap in your public library and borrow ebooks and pay nothing for them, of course you would do that. And Overdrive is getting better and better on Kobo devices. So it's a great integration, and I definitely recommend you do it. Get a library card, and that way you can borrow some ebooks that might be available in the store, but might also be available at the library as well. And then if there's Pocket, so if you want to save articles from online and then read them later, you can also do that too. It's fantastic. So the content delivery is great. Kobo Plus is, of course, the subscription-based service where it's like an all-you-can-read type of service. Again, it does not tap into the entire Kobo library. It's hundreds of thousands of books as opposed to millions, but it's something that's there if you want to try it. If you feel that you can get through more than one book, it might be worth the money, so long as there's something there that you want to read. When it comes to the audiobooks, because that is one of the key new things that's in this, that is where things get a little bit interesting, because for the simple fact that not as many audiobooks as you think are going to be available here. Not only that, I found that it's harder to find audiobooks on here than it is on Kobo's mobile app or on their website. Why, I don't know, but it just is. Now, one way or another, you can find an audiobook that you want. You can sign up for Kobo Audiobooks. That's a separate subscription service. It's $12.99 per month in Canada. It gives you 1 credit per month. The first month is free as a trial. And after that, 1 credit a month. You can also buy audiobooks straight up. You then own them, and they're tied to your Kobo account. So you have a couple different ways to go about it, but they can get a little bit pricey. So be careful with that. Now, the audiobook side of things is fine. I mean, I used it. paired Bluetooth headphones or a Bluetooth speaker with it. The audiobook played, it wasn't a problem. I could scrub through, I could skip, I could go back 30 seconds, go forward 30 seconds. It was not unlike what you probably already used to. If you listen to audiobooks regularly on other platforms, it's probably not going to be that dramatically different. A lot of the same features kind of apply. You can change the speed, you can make it slower, faster, all those things that you would want or would think should be in an audiobook layout and interface is pretty much here. All of this does have an impact to some degree on battery life. So the Kobos that used to last such a long time with each charge is not necessarily going to happen here, primarily because there are just more things going on. So not only do you have the audiobook situation, but you have a faster processor, you've got a screen that is doing more, you have also the Comfort Light Pro, where you can change the color temperature, make it easier to read in darker or night settings. You can use dark mode as well if you want to reduce that glare, especially if you're reading next to a partner at night, don't want to disturb them. Dark mode is very good for that too. So there's a lot going on here, and because of that, battery life is not going to be quite the same. That doesn't mean you're going to be recharging every day. You won't be, but don't expect this to last weeks and weeks and weeks. If you're using it on a regular basis for recharge, that's not going to happen. The good news, of course, is that because it does take USB-C, recharging is pretty fast. And once you plug in, you're good to go. Probably, I would say, just maybe over an hour, it should recharge fully. And that's pretty good, ultimately. If you're looking for a smaller Kobo, the Nia is the smallest, but this one is probably the best middle ground. It is 7 inches, so the screen size is, portable enough that you can take this with you and reasonably feel like it's not cumbersome, like the Sage can be, because that's got the 8-inch screen, and certainly like the Ellipsa, which is the size of a tablet. This is that happy medium of not too small like the Nia and certainly not too big like the other ones. From that standpoint, it is the ideal Kobo device. If you don't want the audiobooks or you're not interested in that, you could still go with the Libra H2O. That is more or less the same device, just missing the newer features like audiobooks, the eCard at 1200 display, things like that. Like those are not going to be in the H2O, but for them, as far as a reading experience goes, it's more or less the same. Not crazy differences in that regard. And that's my review of the Kobo Libra 2. For the Best Buy blog, I'm Teddy K. Thanks for watching.